and welcome to this episode of the DW podcast. I am joined by Jake Bugg's band, so we've got Robbo, Jack and Mike. Thanks very much for joining us.
Cheers, man.
So how, as we're sitting here, we're sitting backstage in Usher Hall, so Jack, how did the gig go tonight?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. It's hard for me to get a vibe. I'm like, got my in-ear monitors in, so it's all very silent for me. I can just hear the music, but it looked rowdy Sunday night, but yeah, always great to come up to Scotland.
I suppose what's quite interesting for me is like, obviously Jake is like the name of the band, or it's his stage name, so like for you guys it must be like pretty cool to join a band, but also to be almost in the background but not in the background.
Exactly,
like
man,
yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think, we enjoy being support musicians.
I wouldn't want to do what he does.
No?
Nah, I would prefer stay at the back and just supporting.
Rob, we had a good chat last night in the pub, which we won't talk too much about, but
How was your head this morning?
I was really struggling this morning, man. Unfortunately.
Did you get up in the morning?
Yeah, I got up about 8 a.m. and thought, I've lost my bag. What on earth is going on here? So I'm totally blaming you. But we had a really good chat last night about when you were first going for your audition with this band.
Yeah, man, yeah. It was a good time. Because I was ready to sort of pack it in a bit. I was a bit fed up with it because you're not getting paid doing London shows and all that. But luckily his manager, who I played with at the time, was just like, you should just have an audition with this kid. He's fucking amazing. So yeah, I bit his hand off, man. It was amazing.
Were you nervous when you were coming up to that, were you?
Nah, because I practiced my bollocks off to make sure I knew every single bit of that tune. So I was pretty confident. But at the same time, you never know, do you?
Totally. And did you guys all join the band at the same time then? Or?
I was a late bloomer actually.
Really?
How many years?
2016.
2016, yeah.
2016.
Yeah, it was a funny story for me because Jake's good friends with one of my cousins. So he said to me afterwards that him and my cousin were just like sitting chilling, and he was like, "Oh, I'm looking for a keyboard player." My cousin was like, "Yeah, my cousin plays keys." Like, so Jake was like, "Whatever." I get a call from my cousin. He's like, "Look, I got this audition. Don't mess it up. Like, don't mess it up." Literally, I think a few days before, got the Royal Albert Hall video. Ripped that, turned it into audio, went to bed like listening to it. I think Jay sent me like a video file, and he was like, it was a YouTube link. He was just like, just listen. But he was like, there's quite a few songs, and he was like, listen to all these songs. So I didn't know what songs they were going to do, but by the time
we didn't play any of them, did we?
No. We did. I remember doing Trouble Town, and I just had like this little keyboard, and it was just like, yeah.
And was that the first touring band that you joined?
Yeah.
No, man, he's
Wait.
You
know what? This
prolific.
is...
You're the biggest rock star in the band, man.
No, we're not doing this tonight.
Where we are.
This was... Jake Bugg was the first...
My cousin knows this keyboard player that hasn't done anything before, but he's big time as fuck.
This is the only
waiting
gig.
to break for years.
I was waiting for the yeah. I mean, I remember Jake just afterwards saying... Because at the time, he wasn't giving anything away. He was just like, yeah, let's play Trouble Town. And I'd play it, give it all I got, expecting like, oh, that was great. But it was like, yeah, let's try seeing it all. So I didn't know like I was thinking. And I think at the end he was like, oh, I'm just gonna go through some new songs with my band. Like, do you want to stay? And
Then that was,
did you feel like that? I've made it. Like that's me in.
Single tear fell from his left eye.
I was like, I've just dropped my laptop down the road for repairs. I got to go grab it, but I can come back, which was the silliest thing I ever said.
Yeah, that was 1 point marked down.
Yeah, that was.
You're lucky he didn't close the door behind you.
Wow, man. I mean, they were really... I remember
he
you guys...
He was late for a gig shortly after he joined as well.
Oh no! Oh, shots fired across the table right there.
Now, ask them who the first one is in rehearsals most times.
Right.
Now I'm saying,
Me
That
and
is
Robbo. Me and Robbo always are like,
the last two times, not this time, but the two times before, like I was there early, like
Yeah, that's true.
twice.
I think that's because you got dropped off from another tour, though, wasn't it? And you didn't have a choice. You got dumped there.
I feel very cornered right now. You know?
Right, so hold on, because you were playing it down there, and I was saying, is this the first touring band that you've been out with? And the guys are saying, "Oh, I don't do that."
No, it's good.
I have toured before. This is different because it's almost like you feel like, even though Jake obviously he's the main guy, but you feel like a band. I feel like these are like my band members. Whereas I did a lot of touring in the pop world, and you're a session musician there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But I'm not saying that. I mean, it just feels a lot more like he lets us have some more input on this. Whereas when you're in the pop world, it's like,
you play this song and that's
it. You play this song and that's it.
So would you guys say then, like, in the songwriting process, if you're rehearsing, like, will Jake say to you, do whatever you want, or is it like...
Yeah, it's what...
He normally likes it different to on record. He normally likes a more live feel. So you can do what you like, but we'll call each other out if something's a bit...
I think the best choices will be made, you know, so and we find it together. Quite often... it's quite often like we're listening to something that's already been cut, so the parts are in place, and if we enjoy those parts, we'll play them. But if there's something that you want to change, it's like, yo, Jake,
just change it.
Go do it.
Let's change it, and it's always the right thing for the songs happening. You can speak up if there's an issue.
Totally.
But it was good doing the first record when it was just us two and we did the...
Oh, when Mike wasn't there then.
Well,
Yeah, it was acoustic.
It was great doing the first record when you weren't there, mate.
Yeah.
Even though I love you, Mike.
But yeah,
What I mean is we had like 2 days rehearsal to whip
the
4
songs
songs into shape.
the songs that we played on, we kind of bought them to as acoustic, and then we
Yeah, and you just had to...
played the parts.
We had
just
2
did it
days
together.
to whip them in.
Yeah.
Did you feel that was pressure, or was there...
No, it's great. It was great.
No.
But to be honest, I enjoyed the songs. I was just like, you should just leave them all acoustic. Honestly, I thought...
Yeah, that was definitely. We were just like,
yeah,
this sounds like.
Shouldn't
Now
play
that
it.
with us,
Yeah.
it just sounded better on your own.
But once again, he was right, and we shut up.
Well, we had to play on them because we were there. He had a band.
And what's the story with you, Jack, then? Like, where did you start playing? What was your first live experiences?
I was from the same city as Jake, although I didn't know him before. But I think my name just came up when they were doing auditions, and I knew the manager Jason, although we'd never met. So we were put together in the audition.
Right. And the same first edition?
Yeah. They put us together because I think, I don't know, they obviously knew what they were doing.
To be fair, yeah, it was good. That it was good.
Yeah, we did 2 auditions together.
That was great. I remember I didn't have enough. I didn't have many street creddy clothes. I wasn't very cool. And these 2 others had nice clubber and that. And I turned up with these
I
jeans.
didn't have nice clubber.
These jeans that were black jeans. I thought they'll be alright. But when in the sunlight, they just sort of that green colour they go in. Really.
Yeah, I didn't realise they were black. I thought they were
I had a
green.
black coat on, green jeans, and a fucking mop on my head that you could wipe a floor with. It was a joke.
We were talking about it earlier. It was November, so I turned up with a Movember tash.
Got a tash.
It was like the 3rd week of
Big
November.
cross.
So the manager's like, and Jake, like, yeah, that drummer, like, he's the best, like, he's really good, but what the fuck's going on with that moustache?
Yeah.
Because it would have been a naughty, ginger, fucking fair tash.
I wish I was around.
And then he's like that, and he's like, wait, they're talking about it, it's a serious issue. Fuck, you know.
And did you
he's
say to them, like,
he's like, no, man, they were talking. I'd gone, and then they was like, yo, it's Movember. And they were like,
You build them out.
Right, yeah.
So then it was obviously, I was like, yeah, of course, I'm not wearing this as
This guy's got a
choice.
social conscience.
It was
here,
back when
isn't
in
He
that
turned up in his mum's car as well with a flat cap.
Yeah,
and the tash.
the
So his mum's
TARDIS.
car was like a little,
So I was in a
was it
Citroen
Yaris?
C1 like that, Whee! With my drum kit in the back. I used to call it the TARDIS. It was like, because it was this little blue thing
It's
that
just
fucking
massive.
fitted everything in.
First time I'm hearing it. I didn't know.
And like it was in that phase where Movember, the first couple of years Movember was cool and everyone was doing it, and then you were like, allow it. But yeah, people did. I know you fucking didn't do it, but people did it. So it was Movember, and then that was.
I'm really hoping that you raised a good bit of money and you weren't just looking like a dick for a few. Like,
£3.
It was one of those. That's why I stopped doing it, because everyone was just like, "Yeah, I love Movember, but I'm just doing it because I want to look cool." It's like, how much money are you actually raising?
It nearly cost you a gig.
It nearly cost.
Nearly-
And it nearly
It'll
cost
cost
me
your
a gig.
career, right?
So I'd say that to any kids out there who think they're doing Movember. Just give
Yeah,
money
but
to
dude,
charity.
dude, it was a cool
No.
Facebook profile picture, man. Like I was in good photos for a while.
Just give the money to charity.
No,
save your careers.
Yeah, I raised some money.
And I know this might sound cheesy, but it does now feel like you're kind of like a family.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And it must have taken you so many places that maybe otherwise you wouldn't have went. Like obviously you now stay in Tokyo. Was that related to the band or was it?
It definitely meant that I got to travel to Tokyo. I've been once before, a couple of years before, and then when we went there, and that was like, I'd always look forward to going there. But yeah, no, I just love that place, but being there with them, like we all love it. Everyone.
Is that amazing?
I love it.
Like Michael came over in.
Was it September?
Was it September?
Yeah, September,
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then Jake, pops over when he can just to hang out, and Robbo is going to come this year.
If he's allowed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's going. But it's
I'll wear the mask. Over there.
Tokyo's a place I wanted to be, so I ended up being there.
These are memorable gigs. Is there anything that sticks in your mind that like, that's the one? That was the one that I really remember. And
That's a good question.
What Mike, for you?
What do you think?
You have to come back to. I don't even know.
Well, I'd say it's normally the faces of the people in the crowd. If there's like tonight was a belter, so
that was a Scottish word, right? In there.
when you look, yeah, of course, man, Jerry, better than that. But, yeah, man, when you look at the faces and you see all that, and tonight is such a beautiful venue.
It's amazing.
Things like that just stick in your mind. You're like, it's just mad that I'm doing this fucking job.
Sometimes you have to pinch yourself almost though.
Yeah, man. Yeah, of course. It's a weird experience. When you're there, you feel like it's a little bit out of body, and you're like, "What the fuck? What am I doing here?"
Glastonbury 2014 on the other stage.
Yeah, that was insane.
That was the kind of a peak, because that was the end of a run from 2012 to 2015. That was before we'd had any break, and that was a big gig, and it was like it'd been going like that for a couple of years, and I remember that one.
Yeah, big time, man. That was that's when you sort of, your dad gives you a slap on the back and says, "All right, son, your life isn't a big fucking disappointment."
Well done, son.
But that's it.
I kind of had that.
Yeah. You didn't waste your fucking life.
Yeah.
Because on the secret side,
You were right, son.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. I'm lucky.
I did. My dad, like.
By the way, Jamie, that's not you. I'm just saying in general.
I mean, they know my dad and my parents grew up in church. My dad's like a reverend and all sorts. And don't get me wrong, he's never been like, that's the devil's music, but like, it's almost like.
You got to prove yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, you do.
Yeah, I mean, until Jake, I'd done stuff, but it wasn't consistent. With Jake, it was the first gig where it's like.
I don't care for that.
Consistent.
Mike.
Oh. Did you tell me Daffy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dappy.
It's the first time you get a wage, though.
Yeah.
A proper wage, and you're like.
And then we did Glastonbury. Was it the one show? And they watched it on TV. And I'm not lying. My whole life, my dad called me Michael, and as soon as I got back from that gig, I get called Mike.
Boy.
I'm telling you, like, yeah, boy, it changed. Like now, I can give him advice, and also it just for him, it was like, wow, like he's not gallivanting, just playing on the corner.
I think this is an important thing about being a musician as well.
Yeah,
Until you get some sort of structure and a regular wage, which I didn't have until I was like 25.
When did you get that?
From
I'm still waiting.
During a regular wage.
It's called saving, bro.
I need to learn how to do that.
Until you get to that level where you can save a bit of dosh and that, people just think you're a fucking scumbag. Do you know what I mean?
If you're a waster, like fucking.
Well, of course, yeah. I'm not naming names,
When
but
they say, what do you do? And they're like, I'm a musician. It's like,
If you look like you're doing something though, people are off your back in it. Like I'd probably like, yeah, I'm gonna practice for several hours today.
yeah,
They were like, wow, you're serious.
yeah.
It's
Even
not
though
taking the piss here, right?
it's like I'd feed them a load of bullshit.
right, no.
Get away with it.
Do you feel that your dad being a reverend was quite influential in the fact you were playing keyboard and?
Yeah, I mean, he actually used to play keyboards himself, but he wasn't very good at it.
Right.
So he has this thing, he believes that he's seeing his dream through me. But I grew up playing in church, so it was like understanding how to hear music and kind of jump in has been a big part in terms of surviving this gig, because it's a weird kind of place, because I don't really play the lead, I more play underneath Jake and stuff, so it's like, yeah, it's played a big...
But what I thought was crazy was before we came on this, we were talking and you're like, I can't read music at all.
Oh yeah, no, I can't.
No.
You know what? I just learnt a really unorthodox way, and then I went to uni to learn, and I think I could have, but I was just at an age where it took a lot of discipline, and I remember having piano lessons, and everybody else was playing Mozart, and I had to play like Bar Bar Black Sheep, and I could barely get through that because he was like, I don't want you to play it, you need to read it, and then he'd have a pencil and say, oh, you need,
No way.
yeah.
You play bass? Did you? Are you musically? Can you read?
No, I just enjoy the nights out.
Mate, same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's two type of people. If they get shown music notation and they kind of get along with it, it's good. But yeah, the teacher needs to understand if they've got a student that's not taken to reading. You just go, okay.
And that doesn't mean that you're not good at music, you know.
No, it's
totally.
people have
Well, look at Mike,
different.
man. He's one of the.
People are visual thinkers, you know. People are more
Chordsmith.
oral thinkers. Like,
like that, don't you?
I can't like that.
Mr. Mike Corsman.
yeah. But if you think about his music bank in his head, and he's got that, it's all stored in your mind because you don't read, so you can't go, oh, I can forget this and then put it in front of me.
Yeah.
It's like the brain capacity for you to see those progressions and chords.
It's like people read
So
English different. If you're dyslexic, you understand the world in a different way. So
Yeah,
you might pick
exactly.
up more audio. You know, you don't need to read so
Yeah.
much.
And actually, I think that's quite an interesting point because I think up until recently, maybe in the last 5-10 years, it was almost if you were dyslexic, like people would almost class you as being stupid or silly.
Mate, and you know, as you know, half of them
Yeah, luckily
are
we're-
way more creative and
Yeah.
intelligent than they get credit for. You know?
100%.
Half the people on this crew. are
Yeah.
dyslexic.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? It's now we're born in a time where we can be stupid and people will be like, it's okay.
But you've got a talent there, you know, it's not.
It's just different.
They'll give you half an hour extra at
You know,
school.
education's
Like
a,
in your
it's a
tests.
different path for everyone. So, you know, my English teacher at school was dyslexic, but he had a grasp of the English language. He could teach it better than anyone else. It was
Yeah.
more verbal than fucking writing.
Well,
It's just
you know,
like, you know,
we know lots of great people that are dyslexic, obviously.
Big up
People
the
have gone on to
dyslexic
great
people,
things.
eh?
Well, I just say
Richard
it's-
Branson,
it works in
Guy
both ways.
Ritchie,
You know, like,
Ollie King.
You know, when someone
All
says,
dyslexic.
if someone says, "Oh,
Three-
you're tone deaf," it's like,
three
mate,
legends
you're
came
hearing
out.
stuff in a different way.
This is a very inclusive group, I have to say.
Yeah, it has to be good.
Mike, I want to ask you, because obviously, from knowing you guys over the past wee while, it seems like this is a very chilled out tour. And obviously you've been touring with the Streets and Mike Skinner, and how does that compare?
It's almost like
lighters.
you know what it because you know what it is. These guys are they're my friends. Like they're my friends. They know me on a personal level as well.
Are you saying you don't like the Boys for the Streets?
No, I'm not. You know what it is. I've known these guys longer, and I've been doing this. But with the Streets, it's more of a when we're on stage. It's so one thing that Mike Skinner he is good at is almost like putting on the performance of.
Yeah, he's a front man. He's a front man.
So it's like it's my front of house guy's birthday. I'm gonna take my beer and I'm gonna give it to this person, and he's gonna swim to the engineer, and then he's gonna drink the beer, and then I'm gonna swim to the bar, and I'm gonna order this drink. Like it's just a different energy.
Mike's just going.
And I'll just be like that, looking, just like where is he in the crowd? And then by the time he gets back, everyone's got to play the note, and it's like
It's a show, isn't it?
yeah,
Quality, I respect. That's
Whereas-
good, man.
Whereas Jake would just like pull a mild shape.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's putting on a show.
Do you feel you have to improvise more then?
with Mike.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. But I do think he's so good at that. Because we'll do 20 gigs and every night it'll be like a different kind of gimmick or a different kind of like approach. I always tell the story, there was one gig where I think it'd been raining the whole day. Then when we got on stage, the sun came out and he was, I spoke to God and I negotiated the
Was
sun.
that at Glastonbury? No.
It might have been.
I think I seen that in the video.
And he was like, I paid for the sign, a lot of money for the sign. You owe me the whole gig. You owe me. And then at the end of the gig, he would be like, I want you all to crowd surf with me. Or he has that kind of thing. It was completely different to Jake Bugg. Whereas
Quality vibe. I respect that. I love that vibe.
this has a different kind of musicianship.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jake, I think like 3 days ago, quietly just saying like, slyly, if we're allowed to say, well, actually like a really good band.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like what everybody brings to the table.
These are very tight as well. We were complimenting that tonight. He's a very big type.
Yeah, he's a rock.
Cheers, Derek, man.
He's a surgeon.
And I was just going to say, I don't
He's the
know.
dentist.
I always say this, but I don't know.
He's
I
the
don't know a
dentist.
bass player that's so like solid. When I've never said this to him. When I first heard him play, I was like, he's actually like a lot better than I even like. Like
I thought he was gonna be.
you know what it is? The way Jack plays.
Yeah.
Jack doesn't. He can play like an indie drummer, but he also plays like a gospel, jazz, funk drummer. Like, and I was just like
the tambourine. Touch.
yeah, I was like, normally in like say we are an indie band. I don't want to get told off for calling ours like an indie band, but like their style of playing is very like indie, and that's it. Whereas he has got so many different styles. I just wasn't expecting that.
Totally.
Like there's certain like I'm from the gospel world, and there's certain things he does that he knows is gospel. Like and it's just very impressive.
Yeah, I played with the gospel band, bro.
See?
I think that's a backhanded compliment there. Eh?
Frankly,
Yeah, I played some Kurt Franklin tunes.
they're both like honestly, just to me they're just so solid, and I was just really impressed. I was like wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, decent players. Everyone's a decent player.
I think you two guys have paid him to say that though.
Yeah, I paid him.
Right.
I paid him.
I mean, on the other note, which was quite funny, I remember going to the audition and after listening to the songs for like 4 days, just being like, these songs are a lot slower than I thought. I think that time when you guys were so...
We were just blazing.
Yeah, he was blazing and it was just like...
Dude, you know
there was just like...
that's a good point because the Royal Albert Hall gig was the fastest gig.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's what you would have been learning. For some, obviously, maybe nerves, whatever, anticipation. But that time, the set was so fast. That early 2014, like, we were hard on the road and everything got...
Plucky young bucks.
So, yeah, everything got so fast. It was crazy. And so you
I
would have...
remember seeing it all, it was just boom, 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 boom. I was like, why is it so slow? Maybe it's because they're stoned. But it's like...
No, I mean, obviously that had something to do with it. But, yeah.
But you are very professional.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've never been called that in my life. Thanks.
I'm telling you, yeah. Because obviously, don't get it wrong, you guys like to have a drink and like to chill out, whatever. But before you go on, you're professional. Like.
Yeah. pretty
Oh,
much,
bro,
man.
you...
That's why
you
we're
know,
doing this podcast now.
I tell you what, you like...
Because
If-
you decided to turn up too late.
You kind of need to make the gig keep it the most important part of the day. So if you're like, oh, I can get drunk and enjoy myself early evening because I can play a gig and no one will notice, you know, it then becomes about getting drunk and you're not putting, you're not giving the respect to the reason that you're there, which is the gig. So if you have a drink before, but if you're focused on the gig, then every day's worthwhile. Because then, if you're just about partying, then the gig becomes a distraction from your partying.
Totally.
And also,
So
enjoy
just keep the gig as a focus.
yourself that if you've managed to get to the level where you can respect it, you owe yourself that. There's no point in getting there and then fucking trying to be Guns N' Roses when you're not.
Getting pissed and
do your
playing
job.
bad.
Just get the job done as best you can.
Getting pissed and playing bad is a classic thing.
It's
And obviously, a lot of performers, people are there, for the music as well as the characters and the personas and the performance. So some people getting drunk is part of the act. Fine, great, whatever, man. But definitely, I like trying to make the gig better each night. Like we're always striving to make it better.
Yeah,
And if you're drunk, it's harder.
If I have a bad and I'm genuinely pissed off and I don't really want to talk to anyone, I was a fuck off.
Why are you
You're right today, though.
Why are you talking to us just now then, man?
Yeah, see her. We both. That's a double whammy.
Robbo,
Yeah.
come back.
Come back.
Come back.
Get back here. I think ultimately though, you remember as well that there's hundreds or thousands of people out there that have came and paid money to see you.
Yeah, man, babysitters. and shit,
Well-
people are paying for.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think definitely we all respect the fucking crowd. You know, I would, if I had a mic, I'd tell the crowd a lot.
Why do you not have a mic?
Because
you tell them too much.
fucking dude, you don't want me talking. You don't want me talking.
It's just
Because
keep
I just
going.
feel like
Keep-
I just waffle.
Trust
It's
me.
not good for me. It's not good for me to be giving them
One gig though, you should definitely have a wraparound for
The Britney mic.
Britney Spears,
Yeah,
Amazing.
the Britney mic.
It could be like a dappy mic. Oh, no go there.
We can. I mean, like to leave certain things in part. I mean, you have to. Your journey's your journey, innit? But I just like to know. I'm glad that I'm head above water at the moment.
Yeah, and you feel you're on a better road now than probably. You're on a better road now. Than
Yeah. I'm not on the pole anymore, you know. Made it.
I didn't realise you were a stripper.
There's a thing. There's
To get some money, I had to get on the pole to sell my body.
It kind of was that, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's for another
That'll
time.
be for the next podcast.
Stay tuned.
DW podcast after hours.
EW.
For the adults.
Did you ever have a normal job, Mike?
Yeah. Oh, listen. I did telesales.
Did you?
Oh,
Yeah, my first ever job was telesales, £6 an hour.
I was
yeah.
£4 an hour.
Oh, I'm from Luton.
So you were on the phones, classic.
Yeah, that was my first. So I got a twin brother, and he's like the logical twin. So he's very much like good at maths and IT. I always say that. So as soon as he finished school, like he got a job. For me, it wasn't as easy. And then I ended up kind of getting a telesales job. And then after that, I worked in a store actually, a music store. But I used to get a lot. That's when music started to take off, and I had a mate that kept calling me for gigs, and I kept taking days off. And then one day he was like, "Mate, I've got a tour. Like you should do it. It's like £6,000, which was a lot of money at the time." And I remember just going to my manager and just saying, "Look, can I just get a week off?" Like these times, it's like you have no days left. And he literally was like, "You can go and do it, but if you do,
You're not gonna have a job when you
don't come back."
Mate,
Yeah.
That's a part of it, where you got to walk out sometimes.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what?
All about the walkout.
I said, all right, I understand, and here I am now.
It's like
talking to you.
stupid stuff like, you should really knuckle down against it. Did you hear what I said? £6,000. What fucking planet are you on?
That's what it was, and it was just, I mean, and then that's, obviously it was good when I did the tour, but afterwards it's like, that's when like the stripping started. Certain days you got to dance on the pole to survive, you know. Like, it gets a bit grim, it's cold outside and that. And then obviously I left the pole for life. You
Are you serious?
Yeah, like I mean, you know what it is. There's certain I'm telling you, there's certain gigs where like I used to do the £50 gigs where the promoter would go missing at the end of the night.
Just didn't want to pay
Get a
you.
message and say, "Oh, we didn't make enough money on the door." I'd miss the last train and I'd have to catch the night bus home, which is like an hour, a massive keyboard on my back, and like Friday night, it's like, "What's that? Is that a guitar?" It's like, yeah. And so, that to this is like night and day, basically, yeah. So that's what I call the stripper pole.
That's bang on. Did you ever have it where you'd be like, you just finished playing in London, particularly you go like, to get a glass of water, it's like, sorry mate, are asking a bit too, fucking, you have to pay to play, and it's like,
mate,
can I have a water?
That was you reminded, like, our thing was you'd get like a little
That's
stamp.
when I was like,
Yeah, I got that. Your first, like, it's hot in there. You've just done like you've played 20 songs. Everyone's gone home and like you're like, "Oh, can I?" You got the wristband. Like, "Oh, can I just get a Coke?" I'm like, "Sorry, bar's closed."
yeah.
It's like, well, just water. Yeah, it's like, sorry.
No, that thing we need to live.
You deny me my human rights.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they don't care.
So what's the future for you guys then? You've obviously got another few dates in this tour, and what's coming up in the next few years?
I'm gonna say this really quickly. Promo. Is it 27th?
Oh, I'm not sure if that's going on now. I'm not sure.
Moving on swiftly.
Yeah. Good shout though, Mike. I like that. Getting in with the plug.
Yeah, sorry. Go back to them.
So we've got Dundee tomorrow, and then up to Aberdeen, and then the day off in Newcastle.
That's not going to end well on last night.
Well, you joined us for a day off yesterday. You loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was alright, mate.
It was good, man. It was good. It was good. We propped the bar up for a few hours, didn't we?
Aye. And then I think the bar propped us up for a few
Yeah.
more.
We'll leave it at that.
You doing any summer festivals? Or?
Yeah, we got a few things in Europe, maybe.
It's a Stockholm one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this year is just maybe releasing some new songs periodically throughout the year. Maybe at the end of the year there'll be talk of the album. The album's lots of songs been written. But I think just going to be releasing some new music through the summer. There's dates in the diary. I think
There's not too much there. I mean, the festivals seem to come in.
it's like this.
You always have a few
The
bits
year's
of-
going to present itself, even to us.
Yeah,
It
we're
doesn't
still at
sound-
that place.
the only thing is, you never look further than the 2 weeks ahead, to be honest.
Yeah.
I never, you know.
European tour in November. That's like.
We get to go to Mexico.
He's giving it all away, man.
Nah,
When
listen.
we go to America and Mexico?
May, yeah. So I think we start in New York, then we go to LA for a week, then we're in Mexico.
Brilliant.
God willing.
Dish in the dirt.
Love it.
Thank you very
Am
much
I
for the
allowed to say this
exclusives.
stuff or no? Is Jack Jordan?
Listen, we'll hold it back
Jack
for
is
the
sure.
next thing.
I'm joking.
They need to know.
Yeah, we're going to do some pop-up shows in Los Angeles, New York.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, eh?
If you see a Jake Bugg
man,
pop-up,
that's
it ain't a vegan burger, it's a gig.
Listen, guys, thank you so much for your time.
Derek,
Really
always a
appreciate it.
pleasure, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks very much to everybody that's listened to this, tuned in. If you've not before, listen to some old episodes, like and subscribe, and I think we're going to have another beer and then crack
Yeah,
on.
come on, man, let's go. Let's have a beverage.
Just fucking get it.
Guys, cheers.
Cheers.